Right then, you know you have truly arrived in paradise when a government official demands you prove you have not died in the last 90 days. I have been living in Thailand for decades and I am still treated with the same trust and respect as a man who just nicked a telly from the local electronics shop. They say Thailand is the land of smiles. However, when you are standing in that immigration queue, mate, the only thing smiling is the CCTV camera watching your every move. Imagine being a valued consumer one moment and a suspected criminal mastermind the next, all because you forgot to file a piece of paper. They take your pension, they take your taxes, but they will not take your word for it that you actually exist. So here's a question for you. What does it feel like to be a law-abiding retiree who has contributed to a country's economy for 20 years, only to discover that in the eyes of the state you are still a potential fugitive? I will get to that in a moment, but first, let me tell you about the day I realised I was no longer a retired gentleman enjoying his golden years, but rather a character in a bureaucratic thriller that George Orwell would have found a bit much. When you tell people back in Blighty that you have retired to Thailand, they picture a very specific postcard. They see you sipping a cold beer by the pool, palm trees swaying in the breeze, the gentle hum of a tropical paradise just doing its thing. Besides, for the first few years, it really does feel like that. I remember my first morning here, sun streaming in, the smell of street food drifting through the window, the absolute freedom of knowing I had left the British winter and its relentless drizzle behind for good. Nevertheless, here is the thing about postcards, my friends. Nobody ever puts the immigration office on a postcard. Fancy a souvenir? Here is a picture of the 90-day reporting queue. It would sell like hotcakes, would it not? The 2026 automated reporting systems were supposed to make everything easier. That is what they told us. Go digital, they said. It will be faster, more convenient. I have been here long enough to know what that means. All they have done is replace the friendly or at least tolerably indifferent human rapport with something far colder. Now we are dealing with algorithms. Besides, let me tell you, algorithms are not interested in whether you have lived here for 20 years or 20 minutes. You are just data. Data that needs constant refreshing, constant verifying, constant proving. If you have ever been on supervised probation, you will know the feeling. You check in, you report, you prove you have not done a runner. Except this is not probation, is it? This is supposed to be retirement, the golden years, the reward for all those decades of hard graft. Instead, it has become a permanent cycle of suspicion. Let's talk about the 90-day check-in, or as I have started calling it, the 90-day sentence. Every 3 months, like clockwork, I have to prove my existence. Not just my existence, mind you, but my existence in the correct location. If I so much as sneeze in a different province without the proper paperwork, I might as well be a wanted man. Now, the rules are straightforward enough on paper. Section 37, paragraph 5 of the Immigration Act says that any foreigner staying more than 90 days must report their current address. Miss the deadline and you are looking at a 2,000 baht fine. get picked up by the authorities and it jumps to 5,000 baht. Sounds simple, does it not? Yep. Every single time I go to the immigration office, I feel like I am walking into an interrogation room. The officer behind the desk has that look, the one that says, "What exactly are you doing here?" You have been here for 20 years, you pay your taxes, and you have a nice life. Surely there must be something dodgy going on. I am not complaining about the fine. The money is not the issue. It is the principle, the sheer indignity of it. I have put more into this country's economy than most of the bureaucrats processing my paperwork could ever imagine. I have bought a house or two, I have employed Thai workers, I have paid my taxes, yet every 90 days I am reduced to a queue number and a stack of photocopies that could wallpaper a small bungalow. Why is this the price of a tropical sunshine? Why is it that our pensions, hard-earned, taxed and carefully managed, are treated as if ransom money, to be held in stagnant accounts just to prove we are solvent? It is not enough to have a comfortable income. Oh no, you must have that magic number, 800,000 baht sitting in a Thai bank account, untouched, earning next to nothing, just to convince them you are not a drain on the state. I have known blokes who tried the rent the money route. You know, someone deposits 800,000 baht into your account just long enough for you to get a bank statement and then they take it back. It sounds clever, does it not? It is not. It is a one-way ticket to being blacklisted or worse. The authorities are not stupid, at least not when it comes to catching that sort of thing. Forging financial documents in Thailand is a criminal offence. We are talking prison time, not just a slap on the wrist. Then there are the wealth verification audits. The new 2026 requirements treat us as if we are laundering money through our modest pensions. Do you have any idea what it is like to have a retired school teacher from Yorkshire or a former plumber from Birmingham being investigated with the same intensity as a drug cartel? I am not making this up. The financial requirements for the retirement visa are a labyrinth of bureaucratic nonsense. You have to show the money, keep it there for at least 2 months before applying, and then maintain it for 3 months after approval, leaving only 400,000 baht minimum thereafter. Besides, every year they want to see it again. Annual renews, annual proof, annual interrogation. The long-term resident visa was supposed to be the solution. 10 years of stability, tax exemptions, fewer headaches. Sounds lovely, does it not? Until you read the fine print. You need an annual income of 80,000 US dollars or 40,000 with 250,000 invested in Thai assets. Oh, and health insurance covering at least $50,000. For a retiree on a modest pension, that is not an option. It is a fantasy. So most of us are stuck with the annual renewal cycle. Every 12 months I'm back in that office, sweating over whether my bank statement is in the right format, whether I have the right photocopy of my passport, whether the officer is having a good day or a bad one. If it is a bad day, good luck. It is like watching a slow motion train wreck and you are the one in the train. Now, this is where it gets properly dystopian. Facial recognition cameras are popping up all over the place. Phuket, Pattaya, Bangkok, they are monitoring foreigners in real time. Mobile surveillance vans in nightlife districts. Algorithms that cross-reference your face with immigration, Interpol and FBI databases. What's more, here is the kicker. If you overstay, the algorithms catch you instantly. No more fudging your departure date or hoping nobody notices. The system never sleeps. It never gets bored. It never thinks, oh, he is a decent old chap. Let us give him the benefit of the doubt. No, you are just a pattern to be matched. I have seen the TM30 forms. That is the one where your landlord has to report your stay to immigration. Every hotel, every condominium, every bloody place you lay your head, they have to file one. For a while, the rules were enforced strictly. You could not even extend your visa without the original TM30 receipt. Imagine being turned away because a landlord forgot to hand over a tiny slip of paper. Besides, do not get me started on the travel restrictions. If you leave Thailand and come back, your 90-day count restarts. Great, right? Except you still have to report, and now you have a new entry stamp, a new date, a new set of calculations to keep track of. It is mental gymnastics for people who just want to pop over to Laos for a weekend. I have heard whispers of retirees leaving for countries like Vietnam and the Philippines, where the requirements are simpler and the surveillance less intense. Vietnam, for instance, has no retirement visa at all, but some expats prefer the lower cost of living and the simpler bureaucracy. The Philippines offers the SRRV, which is far more welcoming scheme, requiring a deposit of $15,000 to $50,000 for indefinite stay. However, Thailand now feels like we are on the bad list. The default assumption is guilt, not innocence. The burden of proof is always on us. Now, I must not sound too miserable. The sun does still shine, the food is still glorious, and my Thai wife is an absolute saint for putting up with my grumbling. There is a reason I have stayed for decades. However, sometimes the injustice of it all just gets under my skin. The other day, I was at the market buying fruit from a woman who has known me for over a decade. She has seen my children grow up, she has fed me countless meals, and she trusts me. Yet, the state, the one that collects taxes and welcomes my pension, does not trust me in the slightest. It is a bizarre contradiction. I would wager that the average immigration officer does not really think I am a criminal. They are just doing their job, processing the forms, ticking the boxes. Nevertheless, the system they work is structurally suspicious. It is not personal, it is institutional. Besides, that is almost worse, is it not? Because you cannot reason with an institution. You cannot have a heart-to-heart with bureaucracy. One of my mates, a German bloke who has lived here as long as I have, missed his 90-day report by 1 day. 1 day! Do you know what happened? The fines, the hassle, the sheer unnecessary grief. It is not the money that hurt, it was the pettiness. 1 day after 20 years of compliance, and suddenly he is a scoundrel, a menace to society. Another friend, a Japanese retiree, swears by the online reporting system. I have tried it, and for a while it worked. Then one day the system decided my passport photo was not good enough, and I had to go in person anyway. I didn't know about you, but I do not find standing in a queue for 3 hours a good use of my golden years. I'm beginning to understand why so many expats are said to be packing up and leaving. It is not the heat, it is not the language, it is the sheer erosion of dignity. Living in a country where you are constantly treated as a suspect is psychologically draining. It is exhausting. A survey found 55% of expats considered leaving Thailand after the tax changes in 2024. 55%. That is not a few disgruntled individuals. That is a mass exodus in the making. Besides, those changes are only part of the story. It is the drip, drip, drip of bureaucracy, the constant proving, the endless waiting, the feeling that your contributions are not valued. I'm not saying the other countries are perfect. Vietnam does not even have a retirement visa, so you're stuck doing visa runs like a tourist, which is its own kind of nightmare. The Philippines has its problems with infrastructure and healthcare. Malaysia's visa scheme is more expensive than ever, requiring deposits that will make your eyes water. However, the common thread is that they seem to treat foreign residents with a bit more respect. They do not assume you are a fugitive just because you're grey-haired and foreign. So, what has to be done? We need a shift in mindset, a shift from suspicion-based policy to residency-based respect. We are not temporary visitors, we are long-term residents. We are property owners, employers, taxpayers, and in many cases, family, men and women who have built our lives here. We deserve better than this. Of course, I am a grumpy old man. I am not much of a revolutionary. However, I do think we can at least share our stories, support each other, and remind ourselves that we are not just queue numbers. We are people. So tell me in the comments, have you experienced the 90-day circus? What is your breaking point? Let us commiserate together. What's more, another 90-day check-in looms on the horizon. I will go to the immigration office, I will stand in line, I will present my passport with the filled out application form, smile, hand it over to an officer and wait to be called or given my passport back with a new 90-day reporting receipt. I will ask myself, is this really the price of paradise? Is a bit of sunshine worth the constant indignity? And I go home until the next time. Okay, quick disclaimer before I finish. This was just a story stitched together from my own experiences and observations. It was not a diary entry, and it was definitely not about anyone else. The voice is my own and the images are AI generated. Nevertheless, by God, if I ever meet the bloke who invented the 90-day report, we are going to have a word. A very grumpy word and possibly a strong drink afterward. However, even after all my years out here, nothing much has changed other than I have grown older. The immigration forms have not changed, even if it has become digitized, and that will not affect me, as I shall turn up in person to the immigration office until I can no longer do so, as I refuse to use apps on my phone. Not because I cannot, because my phone is nearly as old as I am. Not in years, but in months. It still works, so why do I need to upgrade something I do not need? Besides, it is my form of contempt. Remember this, you have heard it here first. The digital world will burn out when the databases become too costly to run. If this video made a modicum of sense, hit the like button to confuse the digital algorithm. Perhaps leave me a comment, whatever, and do take care. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.